Hey guys, it's Core Ross, and today we're going to go visit Goldshaw Farm. So Goldshaw Farm is a YouTube channel where a couple are building up a farm in Vermont, in the United States. And I'm of course in Scotland, but I thought, wait a minute, I should just go visit them in Flight Simulator and kind of see the farm in person. Of course it won't be the real life, but I thought, why not? Now, I tried yesterday and the weather was so cold that in Flight Simulator, because it is a simulator, and it has real-time weather, the cockpit actually started to freeze up and I couldn't see anything. So I thought I'd try today. It's not much better, but it's a little warmer, but visibility is horrendous. It is incredibly bad. But at least it's not too cold for this little plane. Now, you can of course just manually change the weather to whatever you want, so I could make it a sunny day, but I wanted to visit in the most realistic conditions possible. So I'm flying this today kind of early in the morning Vermont time on the 23rd of April. So that gives you an idea of when this was actually recorded. And I did, like I say, try to go yesterday and it was just too cold. But anyway, let me tell you what I'm doing right now. I've just found this lake. This lake is near Goldshaw Farm, and this is actually a little flying boat that I'm in. So we can actually land here, use this as kind of a midway point to then go off and actually find the farm. And because of the visibility, you can see I'm doing quite tight turns here that I probably shouldn't be doing. I am no expert at this game, but I managed to line up a nice area that I can land at, and of course hopefully take off afterwards. And you can see the rain just streaming off my windows right here. It is just a terrible day. Of course, in real life you would not want to fly in conditions like this. You would probably end up crashing into a cliff. But we are going to touch down actually incredibly softly here and make a pretty damn good landing. And I was thinking of realigning it, and you can actually see how the visibility is getting worse right there as the rain comes in. I was going to realign it, but when I lost visibility I was like, I'm just going to keep it straight because I know there's pretty much nothing in front of me for the takeoff afterwards. But that gives us the opportunity to go into a different camera mode here. We can actually go into kind of a drone cam kind of setup, and we can have a little fly around above us. So I'm just going to cut the engine, make sure we don't drift anywhere we don't want to go. And of course you can see the rain just constantly coming down, but what we can do is we can switch to basically a drone camera. It's an external cam that just lets you kind of fly around as if you were like just controlling a drone and checking stuff out. So we can get a bit of an idea of what Vermont looks like when it's absolutely bucketing down with rain and we can't actually see that far at all. Plenty of trees, that's what we can kind of get away from this. And you can see how the visibility is like constantly changing as the rain kind of rolls in and then past. So like for instance here, watch that coastline as the rain just pushes along there. It's pretty damn cool, I gotta say, and it looks absolutely amazing. But yeah, we're actually super close to the farm right now. And I think if you were there in person, you could probably walk to this lake in maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe even less. I'm not entirely sure. It is dead close. But finding it in this weather conditions in a plane is not going to be easy. But I think for the hell of it, we should definitely have a go. And yeah, like I say, this is a little flying boat, which is cool. It's a real life plane. And it's also, of course, got landing gear too. So it's pretty sweet. But anyway, now that we've had a look around, it's time to see if we can actually find the farm. We're going to switch the engine back on, we've got our flaps in takeoff position, and we're going to throttle up. We've got what looks to be a clear enough path to get this puppy in the air. Hopefully visibility doesn't get worse, or we will probably crash. But if it doesn't, then we might just be able to find it if we're super lucky. Now I'm going to say as well that the satellite imagery that the game uses, especially in rural areas, is not exactly up to date. So it's most likely that any kind of pictures of the farm will be out of date by probably a year or two, potentially even more. But hopefully we can at least find the right shape, and that will be kind of my way of figuring out where the farm is. But what we're trying to do right now is I'm going to try and get to the north of this lake and then turn to the west, and if I get it right, we should pretty much fly over the farm and hopefully see it, but with this visibility it might not be the case. And you can see right now that I've got no visibility, like absolutely none. I can't see anything. I'm flying it on instruments right now as I bring it around, and yeah, it's like if this was real life and you were flying on a day like this, you probably wouldn't live. Like, I don't know, because this thing's actually got quite a lot of instruments in it and like a nice GPS. I think you'd have a hell of a lot of hard time in a more regular plane. But it starts to clear up a little bit. I get a bit more visibility, and this is where I kind of try to figure out where I am and then kind of get myself to the farm. I also throttle back here just to go a little bit slower so that we have a bit more time to actually see stuff. But I wasn't really watching my map enough actually here, and I started to kind of get off course from where I wanted to. Now, I wasn't too bad, but with this visibility I need to be basically on top of the farm in order to find it. But every kind of building that I see right now I'm just looking at, I'm checking every little bit of area. I know the shape of the farm, and that's the main thing I'm going to use to actually identify the farm, because I know that there's a farmhouse and a barn and they're kind of a tighter part of the land. Then it opens up as it goes out towards like where he's trying to grow trees and stuff, and then it goes up to basically a big pasture at the back, which is more square shaped. So we've got this big square shaped part at the back, we've got this bit where it funnels down to the front where the buildings are. So that's what I'm looking for to see if I can kind of identify the farm. But at this point, obviously I'm having no luck. So you can see me starting to look at my map a bit more, trying to get myself orientated here, and it's not really working out. I've just got nothing to go by. I know roughly where it should be, so I should be able to fly over it if I get myself more accurate. So what I end up actually doing shortly is I zoom in on the map to get a better view and basically just come at it again. I go back towards the lake and then pull back in, and we'll see if we're going to be successful in locating it. But it's kind of cool to look down all the different farms and all the different buildings out here, just kind of coming out of the fog and the rain as we fly over, and it's kind of cool to see all this stuff. It is very, very beautiful. This game is definitely a very good representation of real life, and on a nice sunny day it actually looks amazing, whereas of course this is a super grey and rainy day, so it still looks good but not quite as pleasant. But I'll stop talking for the moment and we can just enjoy the flight for a little. Now, believe it or not, but we're actually about to come up on the farm. See if you're able to identify it when we fly over here. But I think you'll see my reaction in the movements of my camera here when we actually spot it. So that is it right there. It doesn't look like it because there's a few buildings that shouldn't be there. The satellite imagery as well, I think, is like at least a couple of years out of date. It doesn't look like it's been updated in a while. But we do have the barn and the farmhouse. Those other buildings don't look like they should be there. But you can see next door, you can see where we've got that funnel of ground that comes down from the big pasture at the back. Although you can't see that right now because of the freaking weather. But yeah, look, that is the farm. And we're going to attempt to actually land in these weather conditions at the farm. Now, I think if we did this in real life, we'd probably like sink into the ground. I'm gonna attempt to just bring this in. And the reason I've kind of rushed this is because I thought if I do any more loops or check it out anymore, I might lose it in the weather and then not be able to find it again. So I just decided to bring it in. And I thought the perfect place to land would be the pasture at the back here. So just up this hill, we have this large area of pasture and simple little touchdown, and we are going to be there. So we made it. Now, you might not be believing me that this is actually the right farm, so we're going to go into the drone view again and actually fly around, and you should be able to tell that it really is Goldshaw Farm, and we have managed to actually find it. So, again, we just shut the engine off and decided to take a little break here. In time to get our drone camera out and have a little look around. What amazes me actually looking at this is the fact that the land is way bigger than I thought it was. Like, this is a plain on the field here up in the pasture area, and it's tiny. It looks so tiny compared to the land around it. Like, it is a huge amount of land. Now, we got some buildings there. I don't know if they're really there in real life. Like I say, this is probably a couple of years out of date when it comes to the satellite imagery. It's low resolution satellite imagery as well. All the kind of rural stuff for this game is definitely not the best. I think there's not really any indication of any of the work that I've seen on the YouTube channel on the farm ground below us here, but this is definitely the barn here, and then like these 4 green buildings, they're not supposed to be there, but the farm building, that is pretty damn good, although it is like half sunk in the ground for some reason. Same with the farmhouse too, but that is kind of somewhat accurate to the location, which is really cool. And I'll zoom it out so that we actually get a better shot where you've got this, where you can see the land, how it funnels in from the beginning all the way out to the pasture at the back. And yeah, it was just really cool to actually make it here and have a good little look around. So I'll let you watch this, and then afterwards what I'm going to do is just simply take off. So I'm going to stop talking to you for the rest of this video now, and you guys can enjoy it and see me leaving. But anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.